This is the Cullercoats Maritime Radio Station. Built in 1907, the original manned station is long gone and operates autonomously today. It would have had the call sign GCC for ship-to-shore communications. Historically, it handled distress signal traffic, navigational messages, weather reports, and routine maritime communications. The last manned service closed in the 1990s with the end of UK Morse and voice coastal radio operations. When we think of maritime weather reports, we recall some with fondness the BBC shipping forecast, helping ships navigate in safety around our shores. Here's what it sounds like being transmitted on 198 kHz long wave from Droitwich in Worcestershire.
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 0015 on Sunday the 30th of June. There are warnings of gales in Trafalgar, Fitzroy, Rockhall, Hebrides, Bailey, Fair Isle, Faroes and South East Iceland.
But this radio station isn't transmitting the BBC shipping forecast. Cullercoats Station, although located north of Whitley Bay, is part of a global maritime radio forecasting network called NAVTEX, and I'll go into that in more detail in a moment. The site is made up of two large radio masts, approximately 125 foot tall, with an unmanned station controlling the operation. It is inaccessible to the public other than the public paths and coastal routes around it. Very little of its history is known, probably due to security and secrecy during both the wars and pre-internet times when just basically things weren't recorded. But it's in plain sight. The building's there, you can see it from all the roads, and you can see the aerial masts as well. Here we see part of the NAVTEX global system covering the UK and parts of Europe. There are 3 NAVTEX stations in the UK: Cullercoats on the northeast coast where I am, Port Patrick on the Dumfries and Galloway coast of Scotland, and in Nitton on the Isle of Wight, which is on the southern coast of England. See how wide a coverage they provide, typically 3 to 500 mile radius. This slide shows the station call signs for each of the UK bases. Each transmits on 518 kHz international and 490 kHz local UK. Right, so we're looking at the Cullercoats NAVTEX schedule, and for the international times of UTC times, it transmits on 490 kHz. It's every 4 hours beginning at 3:20 AM, so 0320, 0720, 1120, 1520, 1920 and 2320. And each of those transmissions includes data which the onboard ships have NAVTEX printers and receivers, and that will automatically print out the report and the warnings that are in place. So they don't need to do anything, they just leave that machine running and it will ticker tape all that information to them when they need it. Similarly, for international transmissions on 518 kHz, they have their own cycle, again 4 hours, 0100 hours, 0500 hours, 0900 hours, and so on and so on. Now this is where it starts to get confusing. In March of each year, we are in the winter time on the clocks. So it says 11:20 UTC. UTC is the international timestamp, and it does in fact play the recording or data recording at 11:20 AM. However, when you change over GMT to +1 at the end of March for daylight saving hours, it will automatically stay the same at 11:20 AM. However, on your watch it will say 12:20. So you have to adjust your clocks in order to receive the transmissions if you're going to listen to them. And as I've already said, onboard ships don't need to worry about that because the report comes through automatically and periodically through their machines, and they just get on with doing what they're doing. Now, the interesting fact is what does UTC stand for? UTC stands for Coordinated Universal Time. Now, why isn't it Universal Coordinated Time? Well, CUT, which is what it would be, is what the English wanted, and the French decided they wanted TUC, which stands for Temps Universal Coordinate, and so they agreed to go between them, call it UTC, and that's the world standard for time. And all maritime and military times are quoted in UTC times. So that was the hard lesson over. It was a bit long-winded, but we got there in the end. Now what I want to do is to show you the practical section where we listen to the radio transmissions, and bear in mind that we are showing on the following part of the video the transmission is on 481 kilohertz, not 480. That may well be a limitation to my radio receiver or other conditions. And also you need to know that it's 481 kilohertz in SSB, so sideband. So we'll get on with it without the waffle, and we'll listen to it now. I hope you found that interesting, and don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. This is part of my Hidden History in View series. Bye bye.